we did, but this is pretty much an open meeting. A couple of ground rules, only one person at a time talking. We're not taking minutes, and as much as we're going to update this PowerPoint when it's done for the points that we make. So this way, it'll be a document that everyone can access and have as time goes on, and to just move forward. This is the start of our budgeting. This is why we want to actually do this. We did this last year. It seemed to work out pretty well. Some of the things we got to, some of them, other things came up, but they're all suggestions. We just write it down and see where we go. Where do we go, and then we can prioritize. All right. Just a quick note, just to start off, I'd like to thank all the staff for coming. I know this is not part of the regular thing. I do appreciate it. It's a holiday season. If you know the answer, speak up. If not, that's okay too. We're here to help you guys understand what we're up against and where we're trying to get to. You know, one of the challenges that we have, right, when we start the budget is no one likes to pay taxes, especially me. But we do, and we have to do it. But some of the issues that we're having right now is where do we get the money from, and what do we spend it on? You know, so it's a two-way street, and some of the things that we're facing right now are very difficult, and they're out of our control. And one of the main things that we have right now is, of all things, health insurance. Despite the fact that we changed the health insurance to make it less expensive for the employees and everything else, the state, 36%. It's up 70% in, I think, the last 4 years. Is that right, Carolyn? It's 70 or 80, something like that. Yeah, thereabouts. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to pick up. Family coverage, 53, I think, 53,000 this year. That's what they're looking for. And that's ridiculous. But this is what we have to contend with, because this is what the environment is that we actually have to live in now. So when we start talking about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, you know, some of the threats are health insurance, and some of these state dictates are very expensive. And this isn't picking on the state and all the rest of that. It's just a fact of life. This is where we're at, and this is what we have to deal with. You know, but how do you combat that? What do you do? Especially if we're looking at where we are right now. What do you do? Get rid of stuff? We're not going to have a fire department. Oh, that's great. That ain't going to happen. What do you do? I mean, right now, just to keep up with everybody else that's out there, I mean, we're looking at paper, coal, and all the rest of this stuff, and these guys have done a phenomenal job for the town in general, and they've also done a phenomenal job in trying to find funds for us to get grants to help us fund some of these initiatives. You didn't think I would mention that, right? You knew I would. Because you guys did do a great job getting that to help get this thing kicked off and off the ground. You know, one of these things when we do with the budget, we started out a couple of years ago, or at least I did. The budget's what drives this town for the whole year. You can always add, subtract a little bit, but what we set in the budget and what we're going to set our stall out to do, that's what we're obligated by law actually to do. When you pass the budget, you're basically saying, this is what we're doing this year. This is what we're paying for. This is how much we're going to pay for it. And then we have to contend with people changing things, which we can't change what we said we're going to do, but then the state will come down and say, you got to do this. The state will come down and say, you got to do that. Oh, by the way, we're changing the rules. And sometimes the rules are a little bit soft that we don't see it, but they'll change a regulation. And now something that the police department had to do that took 2 hours now takes 6 hours. So now you need 3 times the resource to do that. Sometimes, you know, some of the things that happen in the state is just the way they handle even insurance claims, this, that, and the other thing. You get in a car accident with a police car, now you're jumping through more hoops just to figure out what happened. You're out of car. That's all you know. Look at yourself. Well, I know. I got hit last year. The car was gone. Now I'm sitting there. They give me a nice little check, which isn't enough even to cover the fact of the car that I had. These are things that we contend with during the year. We also look at structure and part of our plan. You know, we made a recent change. We have 2 interim, business administrators or a deputy. I'll always get the titles mixed up, but these guys came in, are doing a job for us that was done basically by one person before. And these guys are finding out as time goes on, there's all these other little things that are out there. And we've been pretty diligent about trying to go after all these little pesky things that nobody's taken care of for years. One of the things that came out, and oh, by the way, everyone that's here, Claire's here. Sorry, Claire. Claire is our Citizen of the Year. Claire? The Environmental Commission and the Green Team have done a fabulous job. They just got a nice big fat award for being Rookies of the Year, recognized by the state. Don't ask me what the acronym is. I'll never get it right. But she went down to Atlantic City. She was recognized, and the whole team for their efforts. I thought it was phenomenal. That's something that we decided to do a couple of years ago. We had one. It fizzled away. It came back. Someone grabbed the bull by the horns and made a go of it. Can't thank you enough. You see all your handiwork all around town. We've got trees everywhere. Okay, but this meeting is not about me rattling on for 2 hours. 9 o'clock, hard stop, all right? But one of the things that we try and do is we try and operate, and I'm not putting it up there, is to operate smart. And what that means is that for our goals for this year, we want to be specific, we want them to be measurable, we want them to be achievable, we want them to be relevant to what we do, and time bound, which means we don't like these open-ended things that somehow, oh yeah, we're going to get this done, or I'm looking to do, and it never gets done. The staff that's here, when we get to the point where we're doing some department reviews, or if you guys have some input that you want or questions, ask. If they know it, they'll be more than happy to answer. We're very lucky that we have the staff that we have. They're very good. Okay. If you don't mind giving us a little page forward there. All right, so what are we doing? We're going to look at the SWOT analysis review, more along the lines of what are we going to do for 2025? What do we need to update? We're going to talk about some of our needs, the desired borough services and programs, and just a quick breeze through the departments of what are we doing? What's going on? Next. For those of you that are new, what's a SWOT analysis? Everyone up to date on these? I know some of you guys are. You just give me the stare down. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as it relates to what we are and what we do. All right. And it's one of the management tools that they use out there to have people look at what's going on, think about what we do right, what we do wrong. We have to be doing some things right. I'm sure there's some things that we do wrong. There's opportunities that there are things that we'd be doing better, and there are things that are outside of our control, which are pesky things that we have to contend with and we have to deal with. Okay, next. I'm not expecting you to read this, but this is all the points that we had from last year. All the things that we wrote on these pads is what's up here. Okay? So we listed them all. So let's go to the first one. Strengths. This is what we said last year. All right? So now that I'm sitting here rattling away, we have a lot of volunteers and volunteer opportunities, a sense of individual importance for residents from the departments. Like when you go there, they make you feel that you're important. Staff is providing good services, and we have a good school system. That's what you said last year. What do you think? Are we still on track for that? Are there things we should add? Things we should take away? Who's going to be my scribes tonight? Lenny, you taking the reins first? All right. Right strengths. We're not going to rewrite all that. We don't need to do it. What do you guys think? Yes, it is. I believe.
Yeah.
We're on, right? Yep.
Right.
Yep, it's all good. It's out there in TV land. All right, what do you think about strengths? Are we good? Are there things we're doing better than we were even last year? Are we doing worse? I mean, from our end, everyone likes to complain about taxes. We had a 2.5% tax increase. It's going to be tough to do that 2 years in a row. I'll be the first one to warn you about that. But that took a lot of work. It took a lot of soul searching and things going down. Jeremiah, you're sitting there. I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think? What can we add? Are we doing right? Are we doing wrong?
I think we all know we need help with our volunteers, and it's kind of where we are with that. I'm pretty shout, but I'm very, as long as our employees are happy and everyone is having that sense of individual importance, I've asked them, but I hear good things from our department. So from the community side, this side,
Well, are we handling things that the community thinks that we should be handling? Are we late in picking up trees? Or are we having issues with garbage, recycling, this, that, whatever, or the police?
I think every issue we have, Chris and Lenny have tackled it with the same for DPW. I think Bruce is gonna be amazing taking care of everything else.
Congratulations, Bruce, by the way, right? You got volunteered.
But no, I mean, I think we're doing good. I know you're opening your ears. This wasn't this meeting. This wasn't here. 6 years I've been here. This is the second year we've done this. So to bring everybody together to discuss this is a very strong sign of saying, what can we do for you?
All right, there'll be a little something extra in your envelope when you get home tonight. No, but anyway, what about everybody else? Come on, where are we at? Christine?
I think we have a lot of volunteers that look out for the community, comes out and helps, whenever we reach out, we have good communications with the school and the people in town, and we try to, fill up whatever we can with our volunteers.
Well, I think it's selective volunteerism. I think we have it in certain areas. In certain areas, we're kind of lagging a little bit. I know, Claire, you've done all right. Barbara, I know you must have half the kids in school in a headlock to get them to volunteer, but you got them. How are we making out? We've picked up how many this year? Picked up 4.
But time will tell.
Of course.
I feel it's a start. It's a good start. It's more than other years, traditionally. I think with the Safer Grant, and some more, things that we can try and throw at it, put things out there again, through brochures, flyers, getting back into the schools. I think time's gonna tell. It's a hard question.
Okay.
There's a lot wrapped in it that doesn't necessarily have to do with us. Volunteerism just isn't a strong thing anymore. And it's very hard to try and go after that and attack that, but that's why we went for that grant particularly.
All right, well, we've done a volunteer fair the last couple of years. Do you guys think that reaps us benefits? Yes, no? Sarah?
Well, since I ran it, I really felt that it was highly successful for the things that I wanted to happen. There was certainly, as far as OEM is concerned, and then looking around at the library tends to do well anyway. But they got more, all the departments kind of gathered through the years as people began to realize that they need help and they are joining in. I really feel there was an influx of it. And whether you have 4 or you have 2, especially in the fire department, that's more than you had before, and it's because more is being spoken of and people are selling themselves and they're getting out there and pushing what has to be done. The need is now out there.
Well, for the people that are here, do we do it again? We go for 3? What do you think? Volunteer fair. We have another one?
I think it should be different, quite frankly. I'm not exactly sure what it should be, but I think it should look a little different. I know for me, I have not thought about it because it hadn't been discussed. But I'm not sure it should look the same. I'm just unsure.
Okay, anyone else want to weigh in on that? Yes, no?
Yeah, Mayor, I just walked in, I know Barbara works around the clock on that thing, and a lot of people showed up, but fire department didn't get a single member from it. I know Owen did, but fire didn't get anything. I don't think it attracted the crowd for the fire department.
All right, so we need to review the volunteer fair.
I think it's a great idea.
Well, I mean, maybe we have to revamp it. Let's see what we can do to come up with. Maybe we'll.
That's a weakness.
Well, it's actually a modification of a strength. However you want to put it. Put it as a weakness. Let it rip. Who's the weakness person up there? I can't read from the back here. All right. Okay. What else? We talked about volunteers. What else? What else are we doing that's a strength? Are we doing anything else right?
The celebration that you have been concentrating on with regard to all the volunteers. That was one of my gripes at the beginning when I first met, it's not that I first met Connigan in a month, but that was one of the first things I griped about, that there wasn't enough recognition.
So like volunteer recognition?
Volunteers. And as far as I'm concerned, it has grown exponentially and continues to grow. People are recognized on every level.
Who's doing strength? You? Yeah, put it down there, volunteer recognition. To be quite honest, one of the things that I think that we need to get a little bit better at is, of all things, it's nice that we have volunteer recognition. I think it was long overdue, but I think now we have to expand that because I think we do need to do a little bit of a better job on our end, employee and staff recognition, because we have a lot of people that work a lot of years and they just kind of come and go, and it's just something that I think we need to look at. Okay, Lenny, why don't you throw that one on your side? Employee recognition. Yep, that's something that we got to work on. Okay, services. Oh, sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the council has done a lot of work in building up our police department. And Chief Geis has done a lot of work along those lines. And that as a community is making us more secure in this crazy world that we live in. I think that's a strength of Middlesex.
Strength. Strength. Lenny. Yep, safety, public safety. All right, good, thank you. Good services, anybody else? Rich?
Jack, I think the movement in the redevelopment of the parks has been a real positive thing in the future. From the new playground at Mountain View.
Yeah, I think later on we show that as an opportunity, so we can put it as a strength. I mean, that we're moving in the right direction. These guys have looked at, and right there's our parks chair, right there. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
You guys have done a lot of work for all the parks. What else you got coming up?
So we're still finalizing the Picture Crowd Park Master Plan, and we also want to look into like the pocket parks in town, because we spend a lot of time with Picture Crowd Park and Mountain View Park. So that's what we're looking into for next year, to put more of a focus, what we do in the smaller parks areas.
All right, keep that one online, because when that comes up later, that's going to be one of the emphasis on the pocket parks. That's something that we're going to want to work on. All right. Not to anyone's chagrin, I'm not touching the schools. All right, that's a separate thing. I wouldn't want to talk about them without them being here. So the good school system, we'll leave it as is. We have a couple of guys that, one of them here is moving over into the school board. We're expecting good things from them. And all right, anything else? Anyone want to add anything else on these strengths? Yes? No? Don't jump in all at once. It's okay. All right, next slide, please. Weaknesses. Guess what? We had a bunch more, and now we're trying to go there. And these are things actually that we didn't hit them all, but we tried to do things, and I think actually we did pretty good with these to to get moving on all of these. More volunteers, we had the volunteer fair. We're gonna talk about that, because if we do it and the main ringleader over there thinks that there are things we can do better, we wanna make it as effective as possible, so let's have a little meeting beforehand to see what shape or form it should take. Communication. As much as I think we've done better at communicating. Are we perfect? I don't think so. Social media and stuff like that, we're getting a little bit better. I'm the last one to talk about social media because I'm not on it by design, which is okay. But as far as communication, I like to think that these meetings have always been fairly open. People can come here, let it rip on whatever they might not get the answer they want to hear, but we're here to listen. Shared services more. That's something we are looking at. All right, because there's a couple of opportunities that are out there that they're not where they need to be yet, but they're definitely things that we're looking at, and that's in terms of working with either Janellen, Greenbrook, also working with Bound Brook in terms of the rescue squad. I know, Chief, you've been working on a couple of things with shared services. I mean, are we far down the road? No, but we've opened up lines of communication to try and keep these things moving along. Lack of county and state support. Well, with Nancy Muniz and Michelle Massacutis not in the picture anymore, I think that's going to be a tough go to have that improved for us. But we've had a lot of promises, so hopefully, and we're going to try and, we're an underserved community by their definition. So let's hope that we can get some resources out of it. I can't sit here and go with the big hammer and say they don't do anything for us, this, and the other thing. They have approved us for, we did get the streetscape grant. That was $1 million. We're working on another one. The fire department did good getting the grant there. It was a better part of $400,000. And you've gotten a couple of other ones in there, smaller. And we've worked with Bruno and Associates, which is our grant writer. They've been pretty active in getting things out there for us. Code enforcement and property maintenance. Well, gee whiz, look who's here. By the way, those that don't know him, this is Matthew. He's our code enforcer. He's been full-time with us since September. He's been making a lot of inroads there. After I finish my little spiel, if you got some questions, feel free. There you are. Better facilities and passive uses for parks. There's a lot of stuff going on. If we could ever get I think we have public service finally at the point where we can actually move the bathrooms and put them in.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a step in the right direction. The lake, we actually made some progress on the lake this year. We've had the ability to, test it. Testing came back well. We have some plans in place for using our hydro rate, which has actually been as much as people might have thought it was a boondoggle when we bought it, it's actually worked out pretty well for us. And I think as time goes on, it's really going to reap some benefits for us. The train tracks. At this point with the train tracks, we are just about as far as we can go. They put in the bollards, they put in the lighting, they come and change the lighting. They've been in constant contact with Lenny and especially the chief over light timings and different things like that. They're on it. The only thing that's left for them to do for the things that they were supposed to do with us, I mean, we changed the lighting. If you guys go there, it's pretty well lit at night. The only thing that's left, according to them, is to raise the train tracks, which is a 25-year, $500 million project, which means not in our lifetime. But, knock on wood, outside of a couple of knuckleheads that don't know where to turn. And as a matter of fact, even regarding that, what we found out, or not we, but the police department found out, is that part of it was the tracking for the GPS for one of the services. I forget which one. The chief would know. It was telling them to make a turn at the light. But the problem was the light was was not the traffic light. They were thinking it was the light that was over the train tracks. So we had a couple of people decide to make a left-hand turn. And don't ask me what possessed them, but they decided to take a ride down the tracks. Obviously none of them got too far. But fortunately, outside of embarrassing themselves and doing some considerable damage to their cars, no one got hurt, which is a plus on that side. Economic development and attracting businesses. Well, we're actually getting some interest now. I mentioned that at one of the meetings there's a group that basically asked us to supply them with a list of properties that we thought would be right for redevelopment. So we sent it because people are starting to get interested in Middlesex again, which is a good thing, because we don't have the "Don't come here" sign out anymore. We have, we're open for business. We want you to come. And like we said before, there's all kinds of ways to handle the tax thing. Part of it is redevelopment. A lot of people wish that things could be the same way they were years and not change anything. You can't do it. It's just impossible, because it would price everybody out so far that we couldn't live here. So it'd be a nice empty room, but the two people that were here would be paying about $24 million in taxes to be able to live in town and have the same services that we have today. That's kind of where we are on the weaknesses. What do you guys think? Are there more weaknesses? Am I missing something? Anybody?
Communication is a two-way street. You can only do so much. But the people in town, maybe you can encourage them to go to the website and to come to the meetings. We've had park meetings where no one attended. So it's a two-way street. So.
Well, it is a two-way street, and I appreciate your point, and that's one of the reasons that we're having here. And I'm glad you're bringing that up, because hopefully the people out there sitting at home in TV land realize that this is their town too, and it's easy to come and complain, but we need people to take part and help us. We spend a lot of time going around town, and these guys, the whole staff, they're here all the time. They know the neighborhoods, they know the people, they know everything that goes on, especially the DPW and the police department. Not to downplay what you guys have, and the fire department too, but these guys are out there. They see what's going on, and they try and guide us to, hey, we got a problem here, we got a problem here, here's what we got to look at. And then on the administrative end, we find out that, oh, by the way, this is where Carolyn comes in. By the way, they changed this rule, and this is what you guys have to deal with. And that's okay. We try and put it all together. But in order for this to be a true collaborative effort, we need your feedback. What are we doing? This is all great. This is what we all said last time. Is there anything else that you think that are we missing? Are we too aggressive? Are we not aggressive enough? In terms of, one of the things that we have with Matthew here is that we want to go after the broken windows. We want to go after the people that are not being good neighbors and good residents. That's what we're trying to do. People that have junk in their front yard that's been sitting here for 10 years and no one ever said anything, we're trying to take care of that. And we're trying to communicate, because even things as far as like the reassessment, there's a lot of people that were going crazy over that. Let me tell you something. I would want to be first in line for that, because at this point, after we had the big reassessment, that's what you want. You want your house not to get too far out of whack, so you're not getting the big hits anymore. But what she's doing is definitely reflective of, if your taxes are going up or going down or whatever they're doing, that's totally reflective of what's going on in your neighborhood. If your taxes went up a bunch, that means, boy, you guys got a ton of home equity, because it's going up like crazy. If it went down, there are things that are not going the way that you would hope. And it's based on what's out there in the market. And if the market's with the way these things are being done, automatically you're gonna keep pace with what's going on, because the reassessment's gonna hit. And I just wanted to touch on that, because I know that was a hot topic, and If people have any questions on that, please ask, because I know you got somewhere else that you have to run out to, and I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to say what they need to say. Well, here we are, weaknesses. Come on, guys, where are we at? Oh, sorry, Rich. No, you gotta wait a second, you gotta go, hard beat you to the punch.
Going forward, I know in the past when I was still working for Ed Johnson, we were going through a lot of things with senior housing. There was a lot of talk, and then there's a little ongoing over the years about senior housing. Has that kind of been completely dropped to increase senior housing?
Funny you should say that. Actually,
I tried.
no. The answer is no. We have someone that has expressed an interest. It's, as I mentioned in the last meeting, it's very early stages. We don't know where it's gonna go, but yes, we would love senior housing. It's long overdue. My understanding is that for the senior housing that we have, it's a 4-year wait. It's too long, but as a town, we can't go into Middlesex Borough and buy these things, but however, what we can do is put the word out there, like, this is what we're looking for. I mean, this is where we'd love to go. I mean, and this is just me. I was hoping that somewhere along the line, somewhere right around here near us, we could have put up another building. Didn't get to that. See that? You're making my voice go. All right, what other weaknesses do we have?
Well, Jack, I think you can take the train tracks off of the weaknesses, because I think that has been corrected and probably as best as can be done. The work on the lake, with the positive testing, as well as the plan moving ahead, I think that weakness has been corrected. The county thing, given all the money that they're putting into that facility down by Middlesex County College, I would like to see some more money from the county coming here. I mean, that would be something that we should really.
Well,
really look into.
we have to see the lay of the land after the first of the year. We had a good relationship with Nancy Muniz and Michelle Massacutis. We're gonna have to, reach across the aisle, which we have no problem doing, to see what we can do. As far as the train tracks, yeah, I don't think there's much we can do with that. I mean, you guys agree? I mean, we've kind of rode that out as far as we could go at this point.
Code enforcement is not a weakness anymore.
Yes, I agree.
It's a strength.
Code enforcement?
Yes.
All right, Lenny, just make little notes for yourself. Code enforcement will come off. I think we should leave the lake on there, because until we have more depth and we have a track record of the water coming in the way it should be, just leave it.
I appreciate the code enforcement, but I would like to keep it up there for my motivation. As
Okay.
well as it's some stuff that I'm still working on to make better.
Well,
So,
yeah.
do you want to say a couple words? How do you think code enforcement's going? What do you see?
Talking about equity in homes, COs need to be looked at a little bit harder. We have a checklist, and I'm a private home inspector on my time off, and the checklist doesn't meet my expertise. I think it's about 6 to 15 things. When I look at a home, I look from the curb to the rear, from the basement to the roof, and that's not on the list. And if we keep selling and allowing people to come into the community and allowing them to live in a home that's not up to par, then we'll never get equity in homes. If we hold them to a standard, and I'm talking about we can allow people in, but give them a temporary CO instead of a clear CO. And that's what I'm working on now. That's what I'm looking into now. I just changed our checklist last week to a couple more things, and I'm still looking into that.
All right, thanks. Any questions? Anyone want to add anything? More in the weaknesses? Nothing? Oh, yes, sir.
I'm just gonna comment on the economic development point. I agree with confident that that is not what the treaty as well as I'm really here, so it's my first time. But just in order to diversify the tax base, I'm just kind of more revenue stream. I agree, tax residents is one way, but not the only way for sustainable future. I would like to see it higher on the person businesses. It is truly defensive.
That's no particular order, just so you know.
I'm also curious if there's an economic development plan. Otherwise, and I think we can talk about money and
Well, back in the day, they had the Economic Development Commission. I wasn't a part of that. Was anyone here on it? Bob, you? No? Dave? No? Anyone? Remember they had the
Yeah,
economic?
I remember it.
Yeah. Was anyone that's in this room on it?
No.
I'll have to do some research. Maybe it's something that we need to bring back. We'll put it, just mark that out as a note of something.
It's a note, not a weakness.
Well, it's basically a sub-part of economic development, really. These are gonna be some notes when they're done, huh? Wait till you see the road map that's gonna be. Okay. Anybody else on weaknesses? Yes?
I was gonna say, in regards to communication, are we doing any kind of outreach towards the younger people in terms of high school people for volunteers? Have we gone to those, that level of communication? 'Cause
I would tend to say, as a borough, no. As far as the OEM, I know Barbara, you've reached out for him. She's probably been our main conduit of trying to solicit volunteers. And
We have like formal volunteer program for teens in the summertime. We usually get about 65 every summer at the library.
Kenny, you have to.
And for recreation,
Yeah.
we have a pool of seniors that, not just seniors, high school students that we utilize as well for various events or even spring.
I should have figured you ladies were on that already.
Mayor, I got something to.
Sure.
Fire-wise, volunteers, I've been trying to get into the Board of Ed, and this year was actually the first time I've actually gotten a response from the Board of Ed ever, before I was in the fire chief, which is great. I was trying to do the after the fire presentation, I don't know if anyone's heard of it or is familiar with it. You go into high school with the juniors and seniors right before prom, moving out to college, and two people from Seton Hall that were badly burned in that fire on their campus come and do a presentation of what happened, why you shouldn't drink in school, fire safety in school, fire safety at home, and then they basically turn it over to the fire department for any type of recruitment and retention. We do it at work on my full-time job. We obviously don't do recruitment and retention through service, but for home, I mean, we could have our own fire safety day with the juniors and seniors essentially after that. So hopefully in the next few years, when Chief Young takes over January 1st, we can kind of get the ball rolling with that, but I'm trying to get.
Well, maybe a kickoff is if you're gonna do another touch a truck or something like that, or have an open house specifically for kids, you know?
We get the kids a lot. We get on the ones with Fire Prevention Day and just every day.
But you need like
I need teenagers.
15, 16?
People that are against fire and actually see what we do.
Jack?
Yeah, the OEM, we recently started a cadet program, children, for high school kids. And that's been very successful. The purpose of that was to future volunteers into other services. Not through the OEM, but fire, EMS, anything. Get them aware of what's happening around them. And it seems to be really successful so far. Barbara's done a great job of getting it going. And we're still picking up another one, I guess, this week, so.
How many cadets you have? Barb?
With the two we're gonna have, I was 13.
About 13? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe it's something that between the fire department and the OEM, maybe it's like you guys come and give a presentation during one of their meetings to, or have a meeting on at one of the houses, just to, just throwing it out there. Anybody else? Christine?
Just to help share some information, for recreation, we go to all the back to school and that really helps us with our volunteers, so we can get our information out about what our programs are throughout the year. But especially with back to school and for the high school, that's where I get a lot of my volunteers on the list. And, you know, we utilize that list throughout the year, you know, some is kind of specifically a lot from the Cape Club and the National Honor Society, but in your case, maybe you want to see if you can get a table there, reach out to Ryan and the principal over there.
Okay.
It might be, that's the target. So
That's a great idea.
people will come to you and talk to you.
You know, maybe the thing is, you know, for all the, for you guys to, well,
Over the years, like, you know, especially I've spoken to the principal, he is very open to working with anything like that.
yeah, well, like I was gonna say, maybe one of the things is to have a coordinated worksheet at the beginning of the year. Here are the opportunities that are available for you, and not just have it be for recreation or that, but include the fire, the OEM, just like have a list. Hey, listen, here, this can go as part of the package at the beginning of the school year. Here's all the things that you guys can get involved with. Anybody else?
Mayor, if I may, just for as far as the police department, our school resource officer in the schools is an opportunity for us to have a uniformed police officer in front of our school-age children. It's an opportunity for recruitment, it's an opportunity to help them volunteer, think about operation, what we do to support Middlesex. We just ran a pretty successful food drive that we had many volunteers for the preschool that came out, collected food with our police officers, they brought everything to headquarters, and it was all packed up. And at the end, you know, we delivered tons of food to the Middlesex County Food Bank. So those things, I think, you know, sometimes it doesn't look clear, but like all these little programs, I think make a big impact from the library to recreation to seniors to the fire department, OEM, and the police department. I think maybe it's not concerted individual, but I think it makes an impact.
Well, sorry, because I know you guys, well, is it the type of thing that maybe on the web, and I don't know if it's there or not, maybe, is it the type of thing on the website, we just have a tab that says volunteer opportunities and just have the different departments list what they're looking for, like a one ad for, you know, age and what you have? I mean, maybe your library has it and for volunteer, is it specific enough or is it just kind of general? Because maybe what you need is to be a little bit more specific, is I'm looking for one of these, I'm looking for one of those, I'm looking for, you know, that type of thing. Laura?
I was gonna say that, you know, they have a job fair, so the kids can see different jobs to have, maybe the kind of a fair for volunteers or, you know, so kids to learn about fire or police or whatever.
Like maybe a teen volunteer fair?
Yeah.
Maybe, could be.
You know, like-
I mean, that's part of the volunteer thing that we're talking about, because, you know, no offense, but people don't want me to be a volunteer anymore. I'm getting too old, you know, so that we need the young guys. There was someone else.
I would say, as a parent of 3 kids in a private school, I get very little indication of stuff that's going on right without, like, putting the effort in to find out what's going on. And, I mean, once I got involved in the rec, it's there, but without searching for it, it's very hard to, like,
So where would you expect to find it, though, if you're not getting it out of schools? I'm not putting you on the spot, I'm just trying to ask.
It's just like you said, on private school, there's no like I know for a fact that the Board of Ed pays to give us, since we go out of town, out of district, they have our address, because we get a stipend. So there's ways that they can communicate the opportunities for us. You know, at first it was very hard to find out when they sign up for, like, say, rec soccer or baseball or like things like that. But once you find it, you're in the system.
Right, well, maybe it's,
Then I get those emails, which is great, but it's getting into the system.
right, well, maybe it's the type of thing where, you know, and Jeremiah, maybe when you get over it, maybe it's the type of thing where, you know, the school system, as much as we're gonna hand a flyer to try and hand out to all the kids that are in our own schools, maybe they have something that they can say, hey, listen, we're sending 50 kids to Immaculata or wherever, or Immaculate Conception, maybe they send the flyers over there and have them go, try and communicate that way. I mean,
Talking about our recreation plan?
The car wreck, not necessarily, like, you can send an email blast saying, hey, this is what's going on in the town, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we worked on it recently, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, we just don't get that communication, we go to, Holy Savior in South Plainfield, like, we don't get either side of, like, because we're like that, ugly stepchild, you know what I mean? Like, we're just there, so like, it's our choice to go there, but I want to get my kids involved in Middlesex.
Okay.
They're involved with it, because we took the effort of finding out where to get started, you know what I mean?
So since our new administrators have taken over, it's been addressing that form of communication, so I agree with you, it has been an issue. I think we have done good hearing and tackling. It's very good for, I think, for you all to hear it directly from the crowd and not just another colleague of yours. But that's a lot. I hear that a lot about recreation issues and stuff. And it's like, I think we need to support, but they do the best they can. It's like a 2.5 person.
Who's doing the
great
week?
job.
Who's doing the week?
But it's like, it's a
Who's
lot.
trying?
What are the systems?
This spring,
We got the email blast, right? You talked about, yeah.
All right.
We get email blast out.
All right, well, we gotta kind of shuttle this along a little bit, but anyway, as far as the weakness on the communication, basically what we should just write there is, just put a little note, like, child and teen, opportunities.
I told the last administrator there, where it's like, we need to communicate that we're on a department head a half as well, so if they send us something.
No, listen, it's a point well taken.
Wonderful job, so.
Well, but part of it is too, is that we have to let people know that these resources are out there, because you know as well as I do, you can sit there, communicate till the cows come home, and then someone's still gonna complain if you told them 10 minutes before it was gonna happen, and instantaneously. Okay, anything else on weaknesses? So because we gotta move on. Okay, next one. Opportunities. Some of these are like carryovers from what we talked before. The parts and their utilization. One of the things that Shannon mentioned before, we're looking at all the pocket parts now. So it's not just the two main ones. We want to get everything going for all these other ones. It's not that easy, because some of the things that people need to find out. Dave, I can send that to you. All right. But, some of the things that you find out is that when you have the park equipment, you just can't take it out and stick it in somewhere else. It's a whole rigmarole. It's actually more expensive than buying the other stuff. It's a state thing, but it is what it is. Ratables and redevelopment, yeah, we're working on trying to get people involved and interested in Middlesex. Look for ways to attract the younger generation. Obviously, it's still an opportunity and it's still a weakness. That's what we're talking about. More green infrastructure. That is stuff that we have to work on. I mean, we've changed certain things, much to Claire's chagrin, we pushed back a little bit on, but we are interested in keeping these things going and trying to do better. I mean, we had the thing at the last meeting where they talked about, the state came in and just knocked down a bunch of trees. Not the best. We weren't happy about it, but unfortunately, their communication with us isn't that good either. So we're going to try and work on that because, we're a little blindsided by that. Frankly, it's not our job to cut trees down. They did it on us. But, as far as the green infrastructure, Raritan Avenue, I'm hoping that you see some work over there. They're going to do things. They have a bunch of trees over there, I know for sure. I know the landscape over there is going to change once they finally get around to burning up or knocking down that house that's there. I think that's basically waiting on. You guys done with it now?
Oh, yeah, we're done with it. We ordered it up, it's just on the state.
Okay, so now it's just a matter of them, the state taking it down, and then basically that whole patch from one end to the other is empty, and we have to follow the state guidelines. But I think there's certain things that we can do in terms of adding trees, maybe a nature walk, maybe a butterfly farm or something like that in there. I don't know. I'm not an arborist, so I'd be the last one to talk to about that, because if you could tell I have a black thumb, and, you know, I have to go through 20 plants at my house to get one to grow. So we'll have to stick with the experts on that. Skate park or pump track? It's an interesting thought. That was one of our residents that came up with that last year. I think it was basically more along the lines of, you know, we want to get different things for the kids to do. I think if you go to the park and see some of the new stuff that they put up, especially down at Mountain View, it's awesome. It's not a skate park. It's not a pump track. I'm not going to say that we're not going to do it, but I just have to tell you at this point, with everything else that's going on, it's probably pretty far down the list, to be honest. But, you know, we're here to listen. Film industry moving to New Jersey. It is moving to New Jersey. We're actually getting to the point where we have a film committee. They actually went down to Atlantic City. They are film ready trained, I believe. Is that correct? Yep. So they're going to be working on building up our portfolio to try and interest people into wanting to do a movie here. Hopefully that turns into it's an opportunity. How big of an opportunity directly for the borough? Probably not so much, but in terms of activity around the town and bringing people in that would deal with either the residents or businesses or whatever, there's opportunity.
To be clear, man, this is $1 billion that's coming to this day. So when movies come here, when they come in, they bring everything. So it boosts the entirety of everything. Your personal home they can use, they won't give your address, you won't know where they are. You can link your businesses, wherever you have, people have the opportunity to partake in it. You can make money if they're interested in it, and they can look at it from the click of anywhere in the world. So if there's somebody from any other film industry in any other state, they jump into this catalog, they can look around Middlesex, most data that you can put into the metadata that you can put into a picture, like Victor Crown Park or whatever, Borough Hall, we can rent out Borough Hall, take pictures of this place, and you do the same thing. They'll probably turn something into this, like the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones. You won't even know what they want to use it for. So they'll use it. So it's like,
Only you would say that at a public meeting, Jeremy. Only you. And that's why we're pursuing it.
well, just thinking.
Okay. Okay. All right. Newsletter for the community. We do put out the newsletter 4 times a year. That goes along with communication. I mean, we try and get what we can get in there. It's out there. I mean, that's basically what we have done. Opportunities. What do you think we're missing? Anne-Marie.
Summer concert series.
You're damn right.
I mean, we follow a couple bands, but the places we've gone to see different bands, we would have never went there before. But we went there to see a band, a specific band. And we found new places.
It is something that we're looking at. It's something that is near and dear to my heart. So
Yeah,
we'll see. We just got to figure out a way to make it all work. All right. Anybody else? Sure.
Sometimes there's an overlap of events on the weekends from various organizations like the Elks, the American Legion, some churches, some recreation. There's overlaps. I'm just wondering if there's a possibility to reach out to those organizations. Most of them know what their schedule is and put it together and then look at the conflicts and see if some of them will change to offer different opportunities, more opportunities for the community.
I think it's probably more the Elks and the American Legion, because I know pretty much the 2 ladies here, they do go back and forth with the schools to try and make sure that they don't have too much overlap. But is it something that we could look at? Yes, we could probably contact them and say, what are you planning? So maybe we just call in a joint meeting, get them all here and just bang it around the table and see, I want to do this, I want to do that, what day works for you, what day works for me, and be done with that. Just, he's got it? Okay.
Along those lines, and I was thinking about what you said out there, about knowing what's going on. How about an events calendar each month where they could be input from these organizations, so you could look at any day during the month and say, oh, there's a concert.
So like a community calendar type thing?
We have it, Jay, on the Borough
It's like a
website.
mix.
We got a calendar on the website, but I know it's only
They
our stuff.
expanded, yeah,
Yeah, there's not technology.
expanded.
But that way people would know, go to the events calendar, hey, I want to do something around.
Right, give them an opportunity to post an event on the,
Libraries having a jazz concert.
Right.
You know, so.
all right, we'll look at that, because it's actually a good idea, and we probably have to have a point person to be able to screen it and be able to put it up before it all goes on. Yes, you look like you want to say something.
No, you were looking at me.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Well, listen, the senior calendar, you got all the events listed there, so, you know, it works. Okay. Anything else? Come on, guys. Barb?
Yeah, I just wanna check on any status, maybe it's coming down the pike, on regulating these e-bikes and what's going on the outside, because I had to report them twice.
Okay, I would be more than happy, because I know someone's been working very diligently on it. Chief?
So we have a draft ordinance that we have been working on. We had the council had a workshop on it recently to talk about it, to look at some of the concerns that the community has as far as safety in parks, safety of the kids who are driving, and some adults. So we put together a pretty decent draft and went to the borough attorney to format properly, and it's in the process of being able.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would like to add this, when I had reported my first one, it had to do with Wendy's and the staff there. I said, you really, might want to look at what's going out, going on in your environment and on. And he said, we can't, we're afraid. He said, our staff, the boss, will not allow us to chase them or do anything. And they said, would you, and I said, then I will call, and I did.
Well, I mean, the point that I would have for that, the expectation always in town is not to expect people to try and take the law into their, or that type of enforcement into their own hands. Call the police.
Anybody who sees anybody on a bicycle or e-bicycle or anything on a roadway, on a sidewalk, or a park, that's doing something unsafe, or that hurt someone else, call the police, and the police officer will respond, investigate it, and
Yeah, that's why I reported it.
Yeah, well, and we're on it already, and I'll tell you why, because we've been very fortunate, and it's all fun and games until something happens, and then it's not gonna be fun and games. And there's a lot of little rules and regulations out there, like if it goes over 28 miles an hour, guess what? It's a motorcycle. You can lose your license, you're supposed to have it registered, insured, all these other little things come into there. And, as you people well know, you go down the street, you see some of these bikes, they're going a hell of a lot faster than 28 miles an hour. They're running a risky game. Anything else?
Opportunities with the state and county. So either for things that are coming down, so maybe more communication on those levels. I know we have a good situation with the county, but we need to make sure we develop that, because there's funds in the county that we put in the county that need to get that down. So,
Well,
or communicate or liaison type of thing.
Well, we're always on the hunt for opportunities. We just are. And I mean, that's the whole thing with the Victor Crowd Park. You got to spend money to make money, because if you don't have a plan, you're going nowhere. So you had to invest money to get a plan, so we can go after grants to get more things back. I mean, and just we're lucky in terms of time and like these grants come up. I can't tell you how many we get and how many we applied for, but I know we apply for a lot more than we get. And a lot of times they get cut back, or they just you're taken right out of it. And I have to say that the staff and the volunteers, when these opportunities come up, they put the time and the effort in to try and get us the money that we can get, because we're all in the same fishbowl, and we're all just trying to pull out what we can get out of it. And I mean, a lot of times these things impact not just the guy who's writing it out. Carolyn gets sucked into it. How much money have you spent on this, that, and every other thing? And what have you done? And, You know, and a lot of these are basically people orientated, which means that it affects the rec department, it affects the library, and what are you doing? The fire department, the police department, and all these people have to get involved in order for you to get these things into them to be able to hopefully get a positive result. Did I do that correctly, Carolyn? Did I explain it good?
Yeah,
All right.
oftentimes the 500 towns applying for a grant that only has 25 awards, so it can be hit or miss. There are certain ones that we are better candidates for, and we try to focus on the ones that we have a better chance of getting. And, you know, we've done pretty good in the last 2 years. The coworkers and our grant writer were very diligent about them, but they come with a lot of time and effort, so we try to prioritize.
Guys, it's very simple with that. If you don't ask, you don't get. So that's it. All right, anything else on opportunities?
I have one, Mayor.
Shoot.
I think, our cultural awareness day. Middlesex Borough is very diverse town, and I think, it would help the town if we would learn more about the different cultures that we have in the town. So, you know, have a cultural, awareness day.
All right, that's definitely a weakness, for sure. That's a very good point, because we do have a lot of stuff going on, that's for sure. And it'd be nice to tie it all together, because we're all part of the same family.
Yes.
All right, anybody else?
We have the culture and arts committee. Yeah, it's actually on the culture and arts agenda for discussion.
Awesome.
Nice.
Is it?
It is, I'm on it.
So see that gentleman over there, you might have a recruit.
She know me well.
Oh, there you go, okay. All right, anything else on opportunities? All right, let's move on. Threats, here we go. All right, flooding and environmental issues. We all know that this area floods. We all know that part of the threats that go on, and we talked about volunteers, but the flooding is a very big issue in town. We have a lot of stuff that goes on with that, and there's a lot of pieces and a lot of parts. It's the Army Corps of Engineers. It's the Army Corps of Engineers. Who else? It was the Middlesex County Flood Commission. That was another one. These two guys go back and forth. Sometimes they find one thing, then the other guy's got to hold it up, and then it goes back and forth. I mean, they'll drive you nuts. They drive him nuts. I know that. But
There's a lot of organizations involved when it comes to the flood issues we have. Brunswick Flood Commission, DEP, and Army Corps. So there's just a lot of communication that comes down to trying to fix the problem.
But the main thing that we have found out is that you got to stay on them. So we don't let that slide. You're always, what are you doing about this? And that's not necessarily just related to flooding. This also is with some of our broken windows things and some of the players that we have in town that are, that may have environmental issues in their plants or whatever. And we're trying to stay on top of it, but you have to go through these groups, because that's how you get things done. Otherwise, you're going nowhere fast. And it's interesting, just as a side note, on some of the other things that go on in this town, we've had meetings with DEP, we've had meetings with the Greenbrook Flood Commission. We've also, we've talked to the hazmat people, we've talked to the county. For some of these issues that are out there that you're not really aware of, you're saying this thing just popped up. Some of these things have been going on for years, and there's a lot more back work that's been going on that I'm finding out about. It's like, man, we're way further down the road for some of these things than I thought we were. So it's good to know that we have the relationships, but now that we've had a few changes, they do know that we're being very active at staying on top of some of these things, because we want action. At the end of the day, they're telling us the flood wall 12 years, if we're lucky. Now, mind you, they've been wrong every time, and it's always been later. So we want to get that, but if you don't say anything, it just stops and everyone wonders what happened. So we're staying on top of that. Traffic, speeding, unsafe driving. Well, there's not a day in Middlesex that you can't go. And to their credit, I always see cars pulled over, and that does my heart good. But I also know that if you on social media, someone's always sending me a little blurb saying, this guy's speeding over here, this guy's speeding over there. when it comes to items like that, if you see something that is not, that is becoming repetitive, or even if it's not repetitive, it's the same guy that you see every day doing this wrong thing, call up, we have a traffic department, they'll take care of it. They're gonna do, we just had a recent one on Shepherd. It kicks in a whole protocol of the things that we do to try and mitigate some of these traffic issues. And I'm not gonna talk about it because he knows it a lot better than I will. Do you wanna expound a little bit?
Sure, if you have a traffic complaint, the police department will accept it. We can do a traffic study, just to see what the speed, volume, direction, of cars on your street. Volume is an important part of it. We go back probably 5 years to see, any traffic crashes that happen, to see if there's something that we're missing as far as infrastructure, signage, safety, and we put all the data together. And so it gives us a couple different things we can do about it. We target enforcement. So when we do our study, it also tells us the times of the violations, when they're most prevalent. It tells us when the most volume is. So we can put a police officer, we can be smarter, work harder, not have someone out there all day. But if we know it's between 2:30 and 3:30 on Washington Avenue, that's when we put our police officer there. So you can monitor and enforce. And so, we always try to do an education for two. So sometimes it's a lot of times it's our neighbors. From my experience, 33 years of being a police officer here, we'll stop someone and it'll be a neighbor that's not so far down the street. So we'll do an education now. Put our driver feedback signs up so you can see your speed. Put a warning sign up, a message board about stopping at the stop sign. And from there, follow up with education. So it's a bigger process, but we work very hard with the DPW to see if there's something wrong with the road. If we can put more signage in, safety mechanisms in place, traffic calming items, and then we'll implement it. It's a little bit more than just calling and saying we're just going to put those in. But we do want you to call, so if there's problems, we want to hear it. So we can, number one, know about it. We'll put it on our patrol bulletin for the police officers, so everyone gets a copy of it, so who's patrolling that sector knows there's a specific problem in that area, and that's how we put ourselves involved. And then we'll respond back, what we learned and what we put on back and do that. Hopefully some results.
Okay. Taxes getting too high.
That's why Dawn left.
That's okay. Yeah, well, she knew it was coming out. But anyway, the tax is getting too high. I mean, that's New Jersey, unfortunately. And what we just have to tell you guys is it's a combination of what we're spending money on, what we can do to generate revenue that's not specifically on the homeowner, going after some of these other things that are out there. Some of it's even it's a matter of just getting the flow through the courts fast enough. There's a certain amount of that. We need development. We need development in this town. We need shared services, and these are things that we're having to look at. I mean, the bottom line is that what we're doing right now, Middlesex is probably not going to look anything like it does right now 10 years from now, and it's a needed change if we're going to survive, because otherwise we're going to price all of ourselves out, and there's not much you could do, without getting rid of services or things that people still want. High turnover, mass exodus. I can't speak to that one because it seems that every time I see a house get empty, I see a house filling up. I see that, I don't see too many residential properties that are vacant for too long unless they're run down or they're in the process of being flipped or built up. And it seems to me that a lot of the traffic that we have, there is traffic that leaves, but the traffic that's coming seems that it's mostly North Jersey and New York is what's been coming here. That's just my opinion. I mean, if someone wants to weigh in, I'm more than willing to listen to it. Abandoned buildings, that's part of the redevelopment thing. We're throwing those out there because we want someone to either look at them, buy them, turn them over, turn them into something. If they're getting into too bad of a state of disrepair. He's been on it, you know, issuing fines and doing whatever it has to do to get these guys to at least get them up to, you know, vacant property code, which I know exists out there, because we don't want infestation, we don't want dilapidated buildings, we don't want squatters, we don't want any of that. School spending, like I said, we're taking that one off the table, we're not doing that. Don't defund the police. I think we've done a good job at not doing that because we support our police department, you know, and we've kept it pretty much as fully staffed as we can. You know, there is always turnover, and it's interesting because it's like any department. I know, Lenny, you go through the same thing. These larger departments, you almost never get to the full complement because every time you think you're getting there, someone goes out, they're either sick or FMLA or something like that. But thank God we have the police that we have and the workers that we have. And otherwise, if we didn't have any redundancy at all, we'd be ripe for the picking, and we're not. Loss of emergency services. Loss of emergency services really comes down to the fact that it's almost tied into volunteerism. You know, what can we do to attract people to come in to do these things? It's nice that we got 4 firefighters this year. How many? What does that leave us short? About 10?
Short. We have a max roster of 100. We have 56.
There you go.
We're short.
We're short. You know,
We're at half. We should be.
yeah, so a little over half. But that's a threat because it comes down to the point sooner or later. If you don't have anybody doing it, you have to hire. And you know, it may come down to that, or maybe that's where you start looking at shared services or fire districts, which they're not interested. We don't know. The answer is not there. But what I think we have done is that we've taken some of the steps that are necessary to try and turn the tide. And it'll remain to be seen. And I'd like to sit there and say, oh, this is me and all that. It's not. It's these guys over here. And they work hard at it every day. And we appreciate the effort that you put in. And we're, you know, that's why we talk about these volunteer fairs and stuff like that. What can we do to help you get further along in the full complement?
Can I just add something there?
Sure.
I want to go off on a tangent. Chief Young goes, I can't, especially if I'm getting a microphone.
That's right. We got a gavel up here. We'll fix it.
The reason we asked for the response type a couple of years ago, even before I was chief, is to try to get people to join because no one wants to do their job for free. And it is a job now. We're running over 500 calls a year in this little town, and more are actually emergencies. So between that, the short staffing, just more mutual aid fires, everything. Fire district would work. The state is moving away from fire district.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that, right? Because we're not even talking, but I'm just saying in general, we have to look at some, that's why we're doing we're looking at the paper call and
Right.
the low sat.
That's why we want to take care of our own, because even shared services, everyone around us is volunteer. Everyone's in the same state. So taxing another town isn't going to do anything other than tax that system. So we need to take care of Middlesex. So that was the start of it.
Okay. And it's fair. And the part, see, you came in late because we already went through that, but we talked about that early. And, you know, how it was a good thing that you guys put all that work into getting that grant. I think that was awesome. Okay. Noise causing quality of life issues. Well, we've had a couple of bad actors that are over there on Bagelin. I think we've taken some steps to get them where we need them to be. There's still more things that are going on with that. I'd like to say it's done and dusted. It is not. But I know that we spent a lot of time and a lot of resource on that, you know, this past year. But I have to tell people, and I'm going to say the same thing I said to when I had a couple of residents that were quick to complain about it. If you hear it, make a complaint. Now, what that means is that you call the police go down there, but if the police are there and they don't hear anything, they can't write a ticket, they can't write a summons, they're not going to do anything. Somebody has to, the physical person has to sit there and say, make a complaint, unless they're making a big racket while the police officer just so happens to be there, which 90 times out of 100 has not been happening. Is that a fair assessment?
Sure, we also put the ED number, 1-877-1-DEP. We had a big meeting with the DEP and other enforcement authorities for these kind of things throughout Middlesex County, the state of New Jersey. It's important if you hear something or see something that's a smell problem or a noise problem that you report it to 1-877-1-DEP. It's on the Borough website. If you need to refer to it. It helps us as individual people make the report. I will tell you that I've instructed our police officers if they do respond to something like that and they witness it and see it, to make an individual report. Because I think the law enforcement officer, they hold that report in a higher regard. So together we can do a lot more with this. So I urge you, if you see it or hear it or smell it and it's a concern, to report it as such to them, report it to our department, our police department, and the police officer will come and investigate and make that report, or at least document.
Have there been a lot of, what was the effort around addressing the smell and the air quality in that section?
What?
I know we had a lot of conversations about the noise that they were at council meetings as well, but also the air quality.
Right now, the DEP is on it. They have, they've been doing inspections and they're going back through some of the records as, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I can tell you, I know that there was someone over there that did get a fine, and actually, I forget it's like an NOV, like a notice of violation, that they have to remediate something, and they depending on where it was, they got a fine for it. It's an ongoing process with that, you know. But a lot of these plants that are there are already under a watchful eye of the DEP, and they have reporting requirements that they are required to do with respect to emissions, with respect to reporting requirements as far as if they have scrubbers or this or that they work, that they're supposed to monitor them, they're supposed to inspect them, and things like that. That's where they're at. So yeah, they are being looked at. As a matter of fact, what winds up happening, because we did have a couple of issues over there, that we went over there and we called these different, we called the number that the chief gave out, and the county came, the DEP came, hazmat came. They all went in there, and it just starts a whole process, because now they all start looking, why are these people complaining? And then they come back and then they start looking. It's not like the actors over there have nothing, because they do. They have permits. They're supposed to comply with the permits, and then they start inspecting to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. If they find something that's out of line, they're gonna fine it, And I can tell you that the fine that I saw was pretty de minimis. The one that I saw, because I know from my own, I work for a site that's that's part of a RECRA site over in Roselle, and the fine that they received it was like pretty much they missed a reporting, so they got to fix it and get it right. It's not like they were doing you're running without having a scrubber at all. They didn't. They were doing something immensely hazardous. They did not do that. So let's keep this moving along. Threats. What are we missing? Anybody? Did we skip over anything that we need to put on there?
I'd like to add air quality, because, well, not just what you said, but the loss of trees to clean the air. We lost so many trees in this town, that I think that might be an issue going forward.
If you don't mind me asking, how do you measure that? How do you measure that now versus what's coming going forward? Is there a way to do that? Okay, yeah, just look. I mean, I wouldn't know, because we don't have a baseline, so we don't even know where we're at. But it's really a good point. Thank you. Anybody else? Threats? Rich?
I could not answer this, but I think that high taxes are directly related to school spending.
It's a big part of it. It's over 60, and all I can tell you is when I complain about being underfunded, our state aid portion has gone up in the last, is it 5 years, Caroline? 20,000 over, not 20,000 a year, 20,000 period. So they've given us $4,000 more a year, which doesn't even keep up pace with inflation. And that's a threat. You know? Yeah, put that on there. That's actually a good one. Either or, doesn't matter. Who's the weakness?
Weakness.
Weakness, so you're a threat, sorry. But anyway.
The minimum tax.
No, it wasn't high taxes. It was, no, it was a lack of governmental funding.
State funding.
Yeah, flat state aid. That's a threat. It's got to start going up. All right, anybody else on the threats? Because we got a long way. Yeah. Oh, no, I've been waiting for you. Go ahead.
I would
That's
say
it.
aging properties, I mean, we have quite, I mean, this sort of goes back to school. A lot of older elementary schools that get hit with floods or libraries flooded a lot of times. I think a lot of aging properties, a lot of properties.
Aging municipal properties?
Yes. I mean, and there's, I guess, the school ones aren't covered by you guys, but I know if one of them were to go down, they'd be running huge money. I think, and this, I mean, town hall's starting to get a little older. I just looking for the future. It's gotta come eventually.
We're aware of that. I mean, we do look at that, but you know, it's like a lot of things we have to do baby steps. I mean, we're trying to maintain our facilities as best as we can. I mean, some of the things that you do, you never see. You know, when you're replacing HVAC units, no one sees it. You replace a roof, no one sees it. You know, when you do it I did one on my house. I spent a fortune. It didn't get me anywhere other than where I was before. It's just one of the ways. Okay, anything else on threats before we move on? Okay, next slide, please. All right, let's talk about, we've had these poor souls sitting here for a while here. Let's do some departmental review, all right? Basically what we talked about last time for the police, more police presence during the school drop-off and pickup hours, and police officer trading cards were two things that were kind of brought up. I can tell you one thing, from my standpoint, nobody collects trading cards anymore, so that would be way down on my list. But, you know, as far as the police presence, what do you think? What do you got to say?
Honestly, trading cards. My kids love trading cards.
Really?
And then,
I did as a kid.
I think we were in house somewhere, and the police officer gave us like a slushy. And my kids thought it was the greatest thing ever. It's just that the bond with the police officer, knowing that they're a good person.
Well, we've done tchotchkes for sure.
But that, my kids, they're great at that. They love trading cards and things like that. They do Pokemon cards, they do it, so don't think that the trading card isn't important. We go on there, if you get, I like trading cards.
Well,
So it's
okay.
actually, yes, it's a knickknacks, but it's the bond with the kids and the officers and everything else.
Well, they do quite a number of like handouts and stuff like that. I gotta tell you, Jolene is very good at like,
Yeah. Don't think trading cards are important.
okay.
And that's all I'm saying.
Are you saying trading cards period or just the whole giveaway in general?
Giveaways in general, trading cards.
We're all about giveaways. I see that.
Pokemon, Disney, you need surprise.
Okay, but not specifically police.
Just in general.
All right, nope, we got it. That needed a little clarification, let me tell you. That's okay. All right.
Gotta get a holographic cheap guy's card out.
Yeah, well, there it is, right? Number one, right? He's not putting it down. All right, guys, let's get back on track because we don't want to run out of time here. Laura, go ahead.
I haven't been around at that hour when school's open and closed, but especially longer. Can there be some kind of a system that they go in one way and come out another because cars are in and out all over?
Aren't they supposed to do that already?
So, you know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head that they have to go, it might be hard for them to go out all the way to Harris Avenue to get out, you know, come in those roads and go out. There's a terrible traffic there. Just too far.
There is a plan every morning, there is a drop off and pick up plan, not every parent follows the plan. But we have a lot of presence in the morning. We have an operation every morning to impart the safe from school. And it includes overwatching schools and traffic enforcement in all schools. It's a 10-minute time frame. That's when everybody wants to drop everyone off at the same exact time. You're dropping hundreds of people off. So it's controlled. It's chaotic. I think it's the safest we can do with the set we have. But we reevaluate it every year and we try to look to make those adjustments. I think we have a pretty good plan. It's just a lot of people. But to your point, I'm not going to evaluate that. And see if we can bring them further down. But I don't know if that's going to help us. But I can
Anybody else? Okay, let's move on. Fire OEM rescue. Emergency response information in real time. That's kind of an odd one because, I mean, we have the IM responding, the Nixles go out when there's an issue. As far as the traffic accidents and stuff like that, they're usually posted if there's a major problem. Updates to be sent about flooding. I mean, that's usually, once again, with the Nixle. I don't know what else we could put on there. How else to get the information out quicker? I mean, sometimes people have text chains or something like that, but you know, the Nixle is basically a text. So I don't know how to get these things out a little bit faster.
anyone can sign up for Nixle. You can just look on the police department website and instructions on how to sign up, whether you want to get emails or text messages. And it's if you put weather alerts through there, and road closures, flooding information. That's if you have concerns about flooding, I would be locked into Nixle. It's a service that the borough pays for. We have a very robust platform. We have a lot of people who signed up for it, so we have to be careful too. We overuse it. Through my years of doing this, I've had people say, you send too many out. So
Yeah, you get desensitized.
It's ridiculous. It's just you're telling me about things I don't need to know about. So we have to just balance that.
I'm just trying to follow this section right here. Is this an assessment of what was discussed from the last meeting?
Yes.
And now?
No, this is what we said last time. And then usually when I get that, I said, what do we want to do? What are we seeing here? Is this accurate? Do we want to add to it? Do we want to knock some things off? What do we want to do? That's what we're talking about.
And so these are the recommendations and suggestions that came up.
This is what people talked about last year. That's what it is. We had a place to start. And, you know, some of the things, like I said, some of the items we were able to act upon, and some of them were duplicates. I mean, you see members needed. It's right back to volunteerism. You know, communication and education for the public. We try and get people to go to Nixle. We try and get people to look on their emails. We try and, you know, some people want like real live, like updates to the website. You can't do it. That'll never happen. You know, as far as it being on TV, if they call us up, we put it on. But I mean, we're at the mercy of what the technology that we have. You know, and this is going to sound bad, but for some people, unless we're knocking on their door personally and telling them, hey, by the way, you got to go. You know, there's a flood happen. They're not going to be happy, and that's okay. But if you know. Part of what we mean about communication is a two-way street, which means we can tell you so much, but if you don't want to listen to it or you don't want to put any effort into finding out what's going on, you know, I can't help you when it comes to certain things like that. You know, if there's people that truly have issues, let us know. We'll try and do what we can. But for the most part, you know, you can call in. There's any number of ways to find out what you need to know, especially in an emergent situation. You know, I mean, if it was that critical, you could turn on the TV. You know, it'll have the emergency broadcast system. Chrissy?
I love the Nixle. I think it's especially being right for the town. It's really helpful to know what the I do love it. For one thing, so I think that's a strength. But on the side, I just wait to see the Nixle come out when our pumping stations or sewer lines are getting filled with flood waters. I would love to see a mix come out that encourage people to not use their facilities as much, because for those of us that are in that flooded area, it's just not to use it as much, like don't do laundry right now if it's not necessary. You know, it just hurts the people that are in that flooded area. And sometimes I've seen it, but.
Is that workable, Lenny?
It's not a bad idea, it's only that district that's affected, that's the problem. So Mixel was done as a whole, am I correct in that?
Yeah, but you could always just, I mean, you put a traffic accident, which would only affect one area too. So, I mean, if you just sit there and say everyone in District 4 and 5, you know.
Please don't, yeah, I could coordinate with the chief and work something out to get that district.
Right. Make a note. Okay. All right, guys. The floodgate closure notification, that would go along with the Nixle stuff.
Just ask Shirley.
What, Shirley knows when the floodgates? Okay.
The
Shirley, you gotta let us
Middlesex.
know if you know something we don't know. But
Middlesex floodgate.
outside of that, so anything on the fire OEM and rescue? Anything? Next page, please. DPW, Adopt a Spot program. Unfortunately, Lenny, you got stuck with adopting the whole town last year, so that made life a little bit more difficult for you. They mentioned a furniture exchange program to reduce waste and address bulk items left at the curb. I haven't seen the bulk items being too much of a problem this year.
Since
Is that because you've been going after it?
Since Matthew, we have not had an issue.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks, Matt. That's what we need to hear.
He's alleviated a lot of that concern. My only issue with the furniture exchange, Jack, just like last year, is where are we going to house some of this stuff, right? I mean,
You don't have a place to put it.
where do you want me to put it? Right, correct. We're not gonna leave it outside and have somebody come take a look at
Well,
it.
as soon as it rains, it's.
Correct. So that's the problem.
I mean, is this things that we still want to even see up here? What else should we be talking about? I mean, adopt the spot?
That would be a good one.
Adopt the spot we were talking about, you know, where it, like, say, and I'm just gonna pick a name, like, say, Beyond Days, Beyond These adopted it like a little triangle by
The church.
the church, and they flowered it up every year. I mean, that's sort of,
That's a
it's
good
good, but I don't know if that's necessarily a DPW type of project or program.
We tried like a district, we limited to our neighborhoods, and people will understand what districts are in better, and it's volunteer for their district.
Well, I think there's a lot to be said to it. We just got to work out some of the logistics. We put no time into this, so that's really what it comes down to. With everything else that we're going on, I mean, it took us a lot longer to get through the lake and some of these other things than we were hoping for. But it's a viable thing. It needs. I don't think it's in the right spot, but we got to figure out the right mechanism to get it done. And we might need a civilian volunteer by the name of Jeremiah who would be more than willing to help us out. There you go. Okay. All right, guys. DPW. What do you got to say? Anything on the DPW? Are we doing things right? We're doing things wrong, or things we should be adding to it?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's a strength. We're gonna go with that.
Except for the Christmas tree.
Listen, I mean, we do a lot for the community. Your services, I mean, I live in Hillsborough, I don't get any services. So I saw a lot of residents in this town, you guys do get a lot of services in this town. Between the garbage, my guys take a lot of pride in what they do between the parks, between the lake, between the playgrounds, you name it, to firewood for your residents. It's the little things that we try to give back to our residents. So, we couldn't have done it without.
Okay. Well, that's good. Before we go to recreation, I want to flip back one slide, please. Threats. No, 2 slides. Perfect. There's one I had in my mind. I wasn't sure whether we should mention it tonight or not, but I think we should. A threat for this town coming up is a 100-year-old sewer system. That's a threat. And I think we're in the early stages of looking at it and trying to figure out what do we do with it, because the problem that we have is that if it goes bad, it's going to be a big problem. Now, what do we do about it? And you like not to think about it. It's easy to kick stuff like this down the road, but what really gets you going is that when you start driving down 28, you see all these big patches where the supply lines are cracking, and these sewer lines are just as old. Now, the problem is, the sewer line, the water line, the water company takes care of. When that sewer goes, we pay for it. That's a problem. Now, the problem that we have, we've been doing relining and we put a bunch of money into it. But one of the issues that we have is how long is it gonna go? And that's what we're trying to find out before a major problem hits. And it's like anything else. How do you predict when your furnace is gonna go? You get to a certain age, maybe it will, maybe it won't, maybe I can go another year. The sewers are at that point. I just wanna let you know, that's a very viable threat, all right? And that's something that we gotta consider going down the road. Yes, sir.
Where's the budget for that?
Where's-
the budget? What's the budget for that?
What's the budget? The budget's part of, Carolyn, it's part of the sewers, right?
All of our sewer is paid through our taxes, which is not the normal way that most towns handle it. So that is part of our discussions too. Many towns have the sewer authority. Some towns don't own their sewer systems anymore. So there are many options we need to work through, many reports we need to go through. We got information from some of our engineers and things like that. So it is, like the mayor said, it's definitely something that needs some of our attention, some of our focus, but there's no separate budget for the sewer. It is all paid for through taxes.
Yeah.
That sounds like that needs to be a high priority.
Oh, it is. It is. It's, and it's not, no matter which way it goes, it's never a popular thing, because basically it's getting down to the point where you've driven a car for 500,000 miles and you gotta buy a new car. No one likes to do it, but and I'm not saying we're at that point, but it's definitely something that you just can't keep kicking on down the road. We gotta address it. Okay, back to where we were. Sorry, guys. I wanted to make sure that was mentioned at this meeting. I thought it was important. Recreation. Okay, teen involvement, internship programs, recreation programs and activities for adults. I mean, there's a lot of activities I see that are happening. Are we good enough? Do we need more? Are we missing a segment? What should we be doing? What are we looking at?
Yeah, that's it. I think we could always do more. I truthfully do, and I would love to do more. However, part of our struggles that we have are space issues, where we can't be location. When I have line dancing going on, Girl Scouts in the rec center, it's hard. So for me, one of our focus, I would love, is a community center. So that I can have Mahjong going on at the same time as a presentation or something. So in my eyes, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Great.
that's why we're here for. I mean, believe me, you guys weren't getting away with sitting there all night without saying something. A line after with you guys right after, so no one gets away. On the recreation, guys, anything? Anne Marie?
I would say, like, some of the offerings from the community school, American Sign Language, cupcake decorating, that all went away. I know your space is limited, but I mean, like all the stuff they used to offer, that's no longer.
So basically try and pick up some of the, and that's just a note that you could take, is pick up some of the programs that the community school used to have that just disappeared now that they don't have it.
Everything was with that.
Okay, yeah, I remember. Okay, anybody else? Nothing? Yes, sir.
Some of the, I don't know if this is right, everybody, services, service roads, for the most part, they about town. We see there's some parts where, especially where our town meets other towns, and those towns are investing in the same kind of thing, which they cut off the work, right?
You mean like River Road? Yeah.
Personally, that's where I don't know if that contrast, one town is service in front of the road, and then I service to our town, where service is.
Are you referring to River Road, South Avenue?
Yeah. On Center Street.
Okay. No, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Talk about it and also just write it
Sherman
down as a weakness, actually.
Sherman
Real
Avenue.
quick, just so you're aware, to the Borough citizen for DOT agitation every year for grant funding to resurface.
We used to be able to put in for 5 streets. We used to get a ton of money too as well, and the price of everything was through the roof. We were able to do a lot. The borough was also kicking in some money too as well. Now, the point we're at now is the price of everything is through the roof. So we're getting roughly, my CFO's here, so she's not gonna quote me on this, $400,000 to $500,000 a year, roughly, give or take. The problem is, it sounds like a lot of money. The problem is that the 3 streets that we're picking, just like any streets, it's costing $1.8 million to do. So now you're limited to like, you could only do 2 barely. So this is the problem, right? The price of everything is through the roof, and we as a borough are trying to do everything in our best power to be able to provide you guys with the space. You know, we have to concentrate on the primary and secondary roads. God forbid there's an emergency to get to your location. So that's really what we would concentrate. So just bear with me.
Plan in place to reserve some of those other, right?
Of course, every year we have a plan. Yes, yes. So we're working, we're getting it. Little by little, I'm sure we will get to whatever.
Yeah, one of the things that we're looking at is to try and revitalize doing them ourselves, or at least part of them
He is
ourselves.
correct. When me and, so Councilman Encino, I started 27 years ago. Mr. Encino was in public works for 30-something years. The borough had its own road paving program. We didn't do main roads, but we did a lot of the other roads. So it's costly. So that's the downfall. We no longer do it. I'm now one of those old timers that I used to refer to them guys as the old timers, and we have a lot of new guys. So this year was kind of one of my goals to bring that back, and we did end up working with a company to allow us to use their paver to do an area by my shop to help the kids learn. Because there's only one way to learn it, and Mr. Thomas, he knows it best, because he did, is by just do it, right? So that's the only way you can send somebody to school to, you can give them 10 books to read on how to resurface. There's only one way to do it. So they did a good job. I'm not really comfortable with them doing the new road yet, but eventually they will get it. So we're working on it.
All right, anything else on recreation? We did DVO. Okay, let's go to the next. All right, construction. This basically is what we said last time. And these things are actually in play right now. I mean, they're early days because obviously it just started in September, but we do have more active code enforcement for sure. And we're looking at permit costs and basically everything that's related to the department. It's just, we need a little more time because you can't fix everything overnight. Anything anyone want to add on the construction?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a redevelopment committee in the town?
We talked about that.
Well, there used to be, but we were talking about it earlier about the economic development committee. So it'd be like basically the same type of thing.
Okay, I'll check it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Borough Hall. Let's move on. Borough Hall, basically, the temperature at Borough Hall, hopefully that's a situation that's resolved itself. We're doing all right. The emails for each department, no generic voicemail. I know that there was a line put out there. I mean, I haven't personally called everybody to just make sure they work. The ones that I have called, they do work. So I tend to think that that is not necessarily an issue anymore. The building is outdated and has never been renovated. We put a new roof on this year. We'd love to do more things to fix the building, but it all comes down to money and where are we going to spend it at this point. If we can get some grants, we'll work on it. But for right now, we're doing everything that we can to maintain the asset as best as possible without losing any utility out of it, for lack of better words. Someone was talking about red receipts on emails. Basically, the email system that you have right now, because we did a change, you can easily see that, you know, if you want a red receipt, it's not necessarily the staff's issue. That one confused me last year, because if you had a red receipt, that's someone, you guys sending us an email would want a red receipt when we read it, not the other way around. Okay, and missing appointments. People are usually pretty quick to call me if someone's not there and someone promised me this, that, and the other thing, and they didn't come through. I'm not hearing a lot of that. As a matter of fact, I think I had one this year.
I can say, from May and I being in this position for the last couple of months, the staff's been extremely responsive, and I haven't heard one complaint about being responsive, not being able to leave a message, not being called back. So I don't think it's an issue, but if it is for someone, please let us know. There are anomalies, it happens to us all, there's a lot coming in, but staff is really doing a good job, and I haven't heard any negative at all.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the staff is here. Ask your questions.
But I think it's important too, just introduce, like, we saw Christy from the library, everybody knows who Christy is. So maybe we just want to go through our staff, just say your name, the department you're from. So if there's a specific question, or are you for everybody, just, if you just want to go through the line, and if you want to start.
Favorite book, maybe? I don't know.
Just in case they don't.
Lenny, you're up first.
I'm Lenny Vidal, I'm the superintendent of public works.
I'm Chrissy George, I'm the director of the library.
Melissa DiMarino, Director of Recreation, Senior and Disabled Services.
Ferrari down, for administrator for the clerk. Karen Manson, chief financial officer.
Matthew Dillingham, Director of Code Enforcement and Zoning.
Jack House, Director of Emergency Management.
And Bartok, fire chief.
Matthew Dyson, chief of police, and this is the borough administrator. Nancy.
My name is Mayansi Racines, and I work in the clerks department.
All right. And hopefully you guys know who the councilmen are. Bobby DeCino, Mike Conahan, Joe DeSenza. Got Jeremiah back there who's on double duty tonight. Who am I missing?
One last one, Karen Benson, she does all finance, and I'm sure everybody.
All right. Guys, we're, believe it or not, we might actually get out of here before the 2 hours is up, but I just want to ask a quick question. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask these people that are here for you? They came here at our request to answer your questions tonight, if you had any. This is like being in Catholic school. No one says nothing.
Nobody in the front row.
No one in the front row. Well, there's always that. Okay. Yes, sir.
The library, do we need anything in the library?
Yes.
Is that, are residents charged, and we want to use that for, can we use it for personal use, like a baby shower or birthday? Can we do that?
No, so right now, the community room policy that the board passed is community room can only be used by 501c3 nonprofits. We have a whole policy on our website at this point.
Excellent.
I'm sorry.
No worries, thank you.
All right. Guys, I don't know what else to tell you. Next slide. Thank you for your participation. What, we have someone else back there?
I didn't have a specific question. I just want to know what the next steps are after this meeting.
The next steps is that we're gonna add our notes to the PowerPoint. We're gonna stick it online somewhere. And it's gonna be a basis for the council and the department heads to go forward as they make their budget preparations for 2026. And basically, the net end result of all of this comes out with the budget. When the budget comes out and you know what we're doing, then you know what we've listed, we have the ability to take care of and not. Yes?
Sorry, I know it's being turned in. I wanted to make sure there's an opportunity for a week visit. But with, is it possible to put a crosswalk on Layton and Ashland or somewhere near there that's right across from Super Fresh? Because right now there's no crosswalk there to really cross, to let you go on walk to go to the supermarket. You have to wait until like you see pause in the traffic and that takes a long time.
The county road?
Also, public safety is concerned too. So it's possible to add some kind of crosswalk or you just want to walk to the supermarket on that street.
That's a county road, right?
So that's a county road, which is in the local county road, and it's in the after. I
think it's a good idea.
Looking out for investigations if it warrants it.
All right, listen, I did a lot of rattling up here tonight. Before we go, I'd just like to just see if the council members want to add anything. Jeremiah?
No.
Wow, that was perfect. All right. Bobby?
No, I'm good. I think we handled pretty much all the topics.
Mike?
I'm good, Mayor. I lost my voice, so I can't.
And you thought you were gonna get away with it, but here's Joe to say.
I got things to say. Number one, I want to congratulate our police, fire, OEM, DPW, library, senior services, and the borough administration. I think I'm a new guy here. I'm only here 10 months, 11 months. I'm impressed with their efforts. They're doing, in my estimation anyway, a very credible job, what they have to work with. As far as development, we found out that the old Ferris Brothers building on 28 is now going to be home for Hoffman, what's Hoffman?
Construction.
Equipment. The Hoffman, the people who own the company were raised on Harris Avenue. They're currently located in Newark. This would be their corporate headquarters. So very impressed, very nice people coming into town, great development. I think it's terrific. I have another idea. I'm hoping that we can do something with it. We're all talking about Route 28 in Middlesex Borough. It's what, 30 miles from Newark to Somerville? It's one lane in each direction, except Middlesex. Middlesex has 2 lanes. It makes speeding a problem, traffic. I don't know how we go about it, but I'd like to see us petition the state to go back to 1 lane in each direction, slow down the traffic, make it a more viable alternative. And in doing that, I'd like to take the extra space that would be provided by closing those lanes and put in bicycle lanes. I think with the advent of the e-bikes, you see an awful lot of them on the roads today. I'd love to see us have a safe passage for the kids and the people that use, not only kids, there's a lot of people now that can't afford cars, can't afford the insurance, so they're using bikes to get to work. As an alternative, have maybe put in bike lanes to facilitate their use. That's all I have to say.
That's it. Anybody else?
I like that idea.
6 minutes ahead of time. How about that, guys? Thank you very much for coming. Wait, we got to do this the official way. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Matthew, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Hey, how's your son? Good.